In this lecture, we are having more hands-on, and we are going to transform our example page here that it shows an image that we have in our assets, and it will dynamically change within every page where we are. And we will add a reference to our object. So let's start. First of all, I head over to my Pimcore, and in my website views scripts default, I will make some changes here. One of the changes is that I want to add pictures, and if I go to the Pimcore documentation in the documents editables image, then I see a few configuration options here. And one of the configuration options is thumbnail, and we are talking about thumbnails a little bit more later, but for right now I want to show you how you can add a thumbnail into your documents. To get started with the thumbnails, you head over to the settings and to the thumbnails and image thumbnails. And here we're gonna add a thumbnail, and we call it square 500. And I'm gonna hit OK. And it's gonna open it. And what we are going to do and what we're trying to achieve is a square picture 500 times 500 pixels. And if the picture is larger, then we want to have it covered, like we make it. I want to have that Pimcore is making it smaller until it completely covers the page, and I want to have it centered. And there is a lot of options here to create those thumbnails, and one of them is cover, and I want to have it 500 times 500 pixels, and I want to have it centers, and then I hit save. And what happens on the backend side is if you go to your website var config, then you suddenly have image thumbnails here, and the image thumbnails are conveniently stored in a PHP file, so they are going to be checked in with your Pimcore data if you're gonna check it into a version control like GitHub or Bitbucket and so on. So what I want to do now is, instead of this thing here, we are going to add an image, and this is my image, and I want to have a thumbnail called square 500. And then we reload the page. And if we are going to our assets and we drag and drop the picture that we have uploaded earlier into this field, then we will have a picture with 500 times 500 pixels. It will be made smaller so that it fits inside, centered, and then cropped. And then I hit save and publish, and I reload this page, and I have my picture here. And if I look into the source code, then I will find that the pictures are served from a temporary folder, so that they are subsequently, they don't have to be resized again. They are gonna be cached very nicely. And I also have for high resolution another version which is 2 times the size. So we just edited our first document and added a picture and a thumbnail. And in the next step, we are going to add our object. And we have two different ways of adding an object here. The one is directly as such a drag and drop field where we can drag an object and drop it into a document. And we can do this with an editable called href. So we can, for example, say we want to have an href of the type object. We can also set assets there, but I want to have an object in this case, and I want to have an object of the class type mySample, and I'm going to copy this and I paste it. I will remove this and I will paste it here, and I will remove this and this is my sample. And if I am not in edit mode, then I will just let me have a look how we have called this. My input, get my input. Let's have a look what's going to happen here. There's an error, and we are going to call an undefined method get my input, because if this if this is an instance of my sample, then I will just simply output the input field of my sample. I gonna reload home, and I can drop an element here, and I drop this element here, and I save this document. Oh, I made the mistake here. Then I have to get the element, and here I have to get element and my input field. And I have, this is some text here, and here, and here I don't have any input field or any thumbnail yet. So you already see that Pimcore can be quite powerful. The other method of getting the object listing I was talking before with the PHP API, we will do this in the next section when we are gonna implement our actual website. At this point, I wanna thank you for watching this course, and if you find it useful, I would be very happy if you'd give us a review. Or if you find any errors or have any questions, head over to the forum, leave us a comment. I'm always here to answer any questions that might come up.